We are back, and I watched the second episode of Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings, the Amazon series, and I have to say that the second episode was light years better than the first one as far as pacing and action and everything. It wasn't so much of all the talky stuff and the swooping wide shots, establishing shots and all that kind of stuff. I liked, the elf going to the dwarf to ask to help build the tower. It's something. I feel like this is going to end up being the Eye of Sauron or something like that. I have no idea, but they're going to these guys because they're really fast architects because they got to build this giant tower in 6 months, which is crazy. I love the banter. I loved everything that went on in there with the dwarf and that he hadn't seen the elf in 20 years. I love the force perspective and the scale differences in the two characters. I loved meeting the wife. She was funny, of the dwarf, and names I'm still learning. And I like that we finally got a little bit of some org action there with the underground tunnel. I really like that one elf that went into the tunnel. I'll figure out the names. But anyway, this guy, he goes to the tunnel and of course, something's coming after him. He goes in the water and next thing you know, they grab him from behind and now we're getting somewhere with the show. And then out in the ocean with that creature, with the other one, and who this mystery dude is after their boat, all the people got eaten off the wreckage of the boat and all this kind of stuff. I'm enjoying the show now. And of course the visual effects are looking amazing. I'm still a little, there was one thing that just kind of stood out for me is they show in the map where they got to go to the elf world to go to where the dwarfs is, and they show the distance it is. And so, you got your two guys, the two elves, the guy who wants the tower built and the other guy, and they're like, hey, why don't we just go see the dwarves? Next thing you know, they're like not even out of breath and they're on foot. They didn't show how they got all the way across the map. And all of a sudden they're there in the blink of an eye in the same outfits. And so that threw me a little bit. I'm like, where's their horses? Do they not have protection, like a caravan? Like what? Like how did they just all of a sudden they're talking in this office with blueprints. And the next thing you know, they're walking up to knocking on the door and saying the little phrase that opened up the door and all that stuff with the challenged the dwarf to the rock fight. So yeah, man, that is the only thing where I was like, what? How'd they get there? Other than that, I'm enjoying everything. The mystery man, the stranger, who came from the star and the asteroid. I kind of feel like he might be like an early version of Gandalf or something. I don't know. I have no idea. It's 1,000 years before all the other stuff. So who knows who this guy is, the stranger. But that with all the Hobbit people, I guess they're called the Hobbit people. They were called the Northfoot or something like that. And I was like, wait, are they not hobbits? They look like hobbits. So I don't know. I'm still learning all the names and all this kind of stuff. It's almost like a Tom Clancy novel. You have to read, the novels are so thick with names and corporals and generals and lieutenants and all this kind of stuff. You almost have to get a Tom Clancy and have notes on the side, like you're making notes of who's who so that when it references that person's back later, it's almost like the same thing with this. That was a problem I kind of had with Game of Thrones in general too, is like learning all the different kingdoms and who these people are, blah, 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 blah. Same thing with this, I get it. I mean, it's just, it can be consuming. Anyway, that's it. I liked it. It's really picking up after the second episode. So I'm kind of getting excited to see where it goes. That first episode was a slow burn. And I'll tell you what, it almost had me not watching the next one, but I did, and I'm glad I did. So now I really want to see what's happening in episode 3. What did you guys think about episode 2? Let's talk about it in the comments section, and we'll see you on the next one.